Ross Feingold is a political risk analyst, and he joins us from Taipei to discuss this. Ross, thanks for your time. Can we start by just explaining to our viewers once again why we are so often in the U.S. on the verge of the government shutting down, how that's even possible and even baked into the system?
It's baked into the system because the Democrats and the Republicans are often only able to reach a consensus on how to fund the government for months at a time, or at most 1 year. So we don't fund the government over the long term. We don't reach agreements to fund the government over multi-year periods. So every time this comes up again for a vote, there's very stark partisan differences of what each side wants. And that makes it extremely difficult to reach an agreement. As we saw, the members of Congress are also susceptible to outside influence. In this case, the opinions of Elon Musk and President-elect Donald Trump helped torpedo what was a consensus bipartisan agreement among Republicans and Democrats in the House. So it's understandable that Trump wants his opinion to be taken into account. He is going to be president in 1 month from now. But unfortunately, it did torpedo the deal, which meant that the deal had to be redone, and some things fell off of the deal. And that's the only way they were able to pass something through the House and the Senate.
So talk to us about Elon Musk's role here and what you think of it. He's the richest man in the world. We know he's going to play some role in the Trump administration. His role is going to be to cut down government spending very drastically, but he is not yet in office. And what happened, as you just alluded to, is on Wednesday, there was a bipartisan deal to keep the government spending, keep the government open. And he tweeted more than 100 times about it, how this was terrible, it was criminal, and any Republican who voted for it should be challenged in the next primary elections. That's in 2 years. And that effectively was the beginning of the end of that bill. What do you make of Musk's role here?
Yeah, you mentioned the key things here, that Musk said anyone who voted for a bad deal deserves to be primaried. And Republicans in the House, more so than the Senate, because in the House they're up for re-election every 2 years, they're very concerned about a candidate challenging them in a primary and being endorsed by Trump, or now by being endorsed by Musk. So I think it's fair to say that at least in the upcoming near-term period, for the next year or two, as Republicans in the House and Senate, with full control of the House and Senate as well as the White House, as they go about a tax cut bill and other types of fiscal decisions, it's pretty clear that Elon Musk is going to have some enormous influence on what decisions members of the U.S. Congress make.
This is giving the Democrats a line of attack, and I also wanted your opinion on that, because since Musk initially led the charge against the spending bill, Democrats have been calling him President Musk, Vice President Musk, and they're making him out to be the man, making all these decisions.
The problem for the Democrats, though, is in the House, they're the minority in this session. They're going to be the minority in the next Congress that begins in January. And they're also going to lose control of the Senate and the White House. So the Democrats, they could talk and they could criticize, but they also have to face the reality that they do not have the majority.
I want to ask you about the content, because the original spending bill, the one that Musk opposed and the one that Donald Trump then also opposed, it was more than 1,500 pages long. It was this massive stack of paper that included spending for lots of different things, right? And then the revised version of the bill, the one that is going to pass and keep the government open, it's 150 pages long. So this is very much in keeping with what Trump, Musk, and the Republicans in general want to do, which is a streamlined, much slimmer government and much smaller government spending.
The issue here is that for a long time, more conservative House members, conservative Republicans, what they really dislike is that these funding deals are always made at the last minute by the leadership and with a lot of unrelated new spending provisions thrown in there. And that's what causes so much frustration by conservative House Republicans. They don't like getting a 1,500-page bill at the last moment that has a lot of new spending. In this case, some of the new spending was disaster relief. Now, that may be a very valid thing to spend federal money on, but what some of the House members really dislike is that these bills are not made through what they call the normal procedure. It's really made behind closed doors by the House Republican and Democrat leadership, and they fund the government, but they tend to also throw in a lot of additional spending. And understandably, some people object to that process. They want things to move through a regular process with hearings and proper vetting. Unfortunately, that's not where we are as an institution. Where we are as an institution is that these things go down to the wire, they're made at the last minute, and typically they do have a lot of unrelated provisions, and that's what conservatives dislike. dislike. It's what Musk and Trump dislike. Trump was also angry, though, because it doesn't include a suspension of the debt limit. And that's something that the House Republicans, unfortunately for them, because they don't want to have to be the ones who raise it, but next year they're going to have to raise the debt limit as well.
Ross Feingold, thank you very much. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.